of the Walsh faculty to be present tomorrow, so that it really will be a meeting. And would you please introduce yourself?
My name is Tori Betts, and I'm a student here at Walsh.
Very nice, and you're very welcome. I'm so glad you gave up this beautiful Saturday afternoon to be with us. Pardon? Tori, yes.
Quick question, what about checking out on tomorrow?
Well, if you would check out, you're leaving tomorrow night, right? So bring your bags up, check out in the morning, bring your bags over, and then when we're done, you'll come to our house, and then we'll figure out where we're going to Cleveland. And we have to take Basilis to the mall. Oh,
Yes,
you
we
wouldn't miss
does.
that.
No, you're
No, we gotta get us. Basilis has been campaigning.
Are you happy?
Okay, all right, so, and without further ado, Doctors Gonen and Jacobs will pursue their topic.
Well, we're glad to be able to talk about this. We had a chance Thursday, the three of us, and Rodney, Dr. Rodney Blanc is also part of our group. He's from the University of Colorado at Denver, to talk about the class that we're going to start here in the next few weeks called Leadership Development Across the Globe. Just to give you, we've developed a course description, one that we've actually already developed a flyer for. We each have a different flyer for each university.
Yeah.
So,
But same color, same background.
yeah. So, you know, the commonality that way. But just a little bit about the course. We're going to focus on various leadership models and allow students to discover the type of leadership skills they need to become transformational leaders in their administrative positions, or if they're working towards that. They'll be assessed through self-assessment, one-on-one with faculty, to identify leadership skills administrators need to enrich or develop to become successful transformational leaders. And they're going to work with faculty from, of course, Walsh University, University of Colorado, Denver, and Ornstein Academic College in Israel. And we'll work with other students from each university to collaborate on projects and related leadership development. So that's just in a nutshell the course description. And then, of course, the faculty, Rodney and Itzik and I. And then some objectives. I mean, there probably are more, but there were some that we thought about. Evaluate and explore our own leadership styles. And we're going to talk about some of the activities that will help get to that in just a few minutes. Identify leadership styles that are presently used most often. What is it? Why do they use them? And then develop leadership styles that move them toward transformational leadership. And then learn how to develop the leadership of their own faculty or colleagues in their school or business. Based on hopefully they can take away from the course.
Yeah, I want to add something. Actually, every student that comes to the course know at least something about himself or herself and about what did they achieve until now regarding leadership or ability to influence others or to lead them or maybe something else, which is to manage them, which is totally different. Managing and leading is two different phenomena. But sometimes students and others tend to mix between them, and basically they are totally different because managerial abilities actually it's something that come from outside us. It's employ more of external motivation, and because someone give us a job or a duty or whatever, and it's not that I decide for myself that I want to be a manager. Someone has to appoint me as a manager, and then I have to start managing whatever I manage. Leadership is something that develops from the inside. It's something that I feel from the inside that it's important for me to come up with whatever ideas or values or whatever thing that I believe in, and I would like to influence others. I care about what's going on. It's about responsibility, involvement. I want to be involved in what's going on. I want to influence. I want to come with my voice or ideas, and I want to do something to the people around me because I believe I have something to offer. And leadership is something that comes from the inside. But it's not always clear to us why it's so important for us to try to influence others or try to be that much involved in whatever going on around us. So one of the main things that we're going to deal with during the course is to help our students to understand their motivation, their own motivation, and why it's so important for them to influence others. Or in a different way, you know, one of the books that we're going to use is On Becoming a Leader by Warren Dennis. This is a very good one. I used to use it. This is the revised edition, 2009. And chapter 3, which we usually study very thoroughly, is headline of the chapter is Knowing Yourself. And one of the things that he wrote it down, one of the things that he said that is know thyself means separating who you are and who you want to be from what the world thinks you are and wants you to be. And this is very important because many times we tend to mix between what others expect us to do and what's really important for us to do. And we think what they expect us is that what we want, but it's wrong. And if we don't make it clear for us what really are our really motivation and what is important to us, and we try to answer the question why it's important to us. And this process is not easy. And many times students come to the class and they think they know about it, and they think they know about their leadership style, whatever, because they have some experience. And as I said yesterday, the average in our classes, and the average age is around 40, almost 41. And the average experience years in the education system is around 14. So they did something, and they acquired some experience, and they believe they know, you know, what motivates them and what is important to them. And it's not easy to challenge it. So actually using Jack's story from yesterday with the mule, one way is to shake their knowing or beliefs is to give them a kind of a picture. I can't say, you know, real, but something which close to a real picture of them, using their colleagues wherever they work, whatever school, that evaluate them according to the model, the full range leadership model by Bass and Avolio. So they have to evaluate themselves, and they give it to at least 5 people that know them, and they consider they know them, and they evaluate them according to all 8. I mean, it's not divided by 8, but later, you know, when we analyze it, 8 different leadership styles. Some of them are transformational leadership style, but some of them are transactional leadership style, using, you know, the reward and punishment and so on. And many times, it's happened to me with our students, they are amazed to see how much transactional leadership they use, how much reward and punishment they use. They thought they are much more, you know, transformational. And the picture is not that And even though they give those questionnaires to people they trust, because it's up to them to decide to whom give the questionnaire to answer. Yet, the picture always surprises them. And this is the hit in the face in order to get some attention. Once they see that the picture is not exactly as they thought, they say, okay, maybe there is something that we can learn here. And we really, actually what the course try to do is really to allow them to study or to re-evaluate or to look at it from different angles, the ways they do things, the ways they get their decisions, what is important to them, according to what values they make their decisions, and why. Why this value is so important to you, and why other values are not, and how that, the picture that you just got after analyzing all those questionnaires actually go along with your experience at school. And after they are receiving, it's going to be toward at the end of the first semester. The second semester, after we sit there, and that's what we plan to do here too. I personally sit with each and every student for an hour during semester break, and we decide on a working plan for each and one of them. And out of the picture that they receive, the feedback picture, they decide to pick up 2 leadership styles out of the 8 leadership styles that they want to improve. And the second semester, they start to work on it wherever they work, in the school where they teach. They start to work on those 2 leadership styles, and they have to write a reflective diary. Everything that happened to them during work. There was a meeting, and I tried to use, for instance, an intellectual challenge, and to come up with, or to give room, if I am the one who leads the meeting, to give room to new ideas, and to be ready to challenge my own concepts, and so on. And what happened during the meeting? What did I succeed, and what I didn't, and why? What I think, and everything they write in there. And those reflective diaries are amazing. I just finished reading this year's essays, and I'm talking about, say, 50, 60, sometimes 70 pages of reflective diary that they write everything. The good diaries, not all of them are, the same level, but some students are very good in reflection. And you can see how they learn from one event to the next one, and how they actually develop and going forward and change their behavior, their leadership behavior, and became more and more transformational. So this is basic things that students will come to this course, or take this course. For us, it's a mandatory, it's a required course. For Walsh and Colorado, it's, they have to choose it. So it's not always it. I already know that I have 25 students. Actually, I have 50, but I divide them always to 2 because it's kind of, some sessions are more like a workshop session. You can't work with more than, even 20 is too much. And so only one group out of these 2 going to be part of this course. The other one going to run in a regular way, only for an IM. So we'll be always we'll be able to compare. And I hope, for Walsh we're going to have at least 10, because one of the methods that we would like to employ is to form groups of students. Now, at the beginning, we thought of two from each university, because we didn't want them to be by themselves. It's a bit lonely, and with the English and so on. So at least you have a buddy next to you and together, So we were thinking of forming a 6-student group, and they would start to work together on a mission. Okay, you want to go ahead?
Okay. Well, we have the On Becoming Leader and then the full range leadership development by Emilio.
Yeah, Emilio. This is one of the textbooks that we're going to use. And for us, by the way, just 1 second.
Sure.
For us, no, because we have a book that was edited by myself and my colleague, and I know Professor Avolio, and we actually invited him and Professor Walsh when he was still alive, and they came a few times to Israel. They are good friends of ours, and actually they help us also to develop methods for the army commanders as well. And so he wrote, Professor Avolio wrote an essay especially for our book. We translated it to Hebrew, and it's in our book, and the students use the Hebrew version of something. But now, for this course, they will have to use this one in English.
And then we have some other supplemental ones we look at, and the BAS one we're going to use information from, and there's actually BAS and Rugio, and the Transformational Leadership and a few others there that I added that I've been looking at. We looked at some dates that we would meet with the course, and so these we're just kind of looking at. The first one is when it's offered here at Walsh, because this semester I have to do it on Wednesday, and they're doing theirs on the Thursday because of my teaching schedule right now. I have another class on Thursday nights. But we're going to have 2 different video conference times, and those will be Sundays, where we're going to meet for 3 hours.
Sunday evening for us, from 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
7 p.m.
p.m., sorry, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. in Israel.
And here it will be
Noon. 12 to 3.
And the student will come
And-
inside.
And Colorado going to be
We'll let them know
10?
ahead of time.
Colorado going to be 10 or 9 o'clock?
9 hours.
They're 3 or 2 hours.
2 hours difference.
From us, so it'll be 10 hours. So this is the plan right now, and then we'll just move on to 2 video conference times. And then some of the course content, Itzik was talking about, the questionnaire that they'll individually do for themselves based on the MLQ questions.
MLQ.
Questions. And then that same questionnaire will go out to, like we said, anywhere between 5 to 10 people that they know. We go out to them, and then it would come back to the instructor. It wouldn't go back to the student. So that person who's filling it out would not feel like, oh, the student's going to see how I responded. It would just come back to us. And then there's a statistical analysis that is done, and then from that they get feedback on different leadership styles that are there, transactional and transformation. And then some other things with like the full range leadership model, can read take them through that. And then the critical incident activity, if you want to talk about that activity.
Well, critical leadership incident is a technique that I use. Is every student asked to choose from his history. Could be something that happened to him or her 10 years ago, or something that happened just yesterday. But something that he considered critical. And one of the important things that we would like to understand when this student, first he has to write like 1 to 2 pages describing his incidents. And then we let him share it with the class. and people can start ask him or her question about the event and what exactly happened and what was his role, and did he have a formal role in this incident or something that he initiated something by himself, and how the other reacted to what he did and why he considered it crucial and so on. So this is a chance for everybody to listen to something that I feel is crucial, and we would like to use the first video conference. Every video conference is supposed to be 3 hours, because it takes time until everything is okay with technology and everything.
Take care of that. Will be coffee.
But once you said it, we want to make it, and then students from all 3 universities can ask these students that just share with the class his critical leadership incident. They can ask him questions, so this student can get questions from all over. And I believe that the kind of question that someone from Walsh will be different from the question from his colleague from Israel, and going to be different from questions that might come from Colorado, because different people, different cultures tend to see different things and come up with different experience. And this is one of the advantages of this global learning, that actually the students will be able to look at things from much more points of view, much more perspectives. And by employing much more perspective, you'll be able, I believe, to see things that right now sometimes we miss, because maybe we look at it only from our experience, things that we used to. And this is part of, if we talk about transformational leadership, this is one of the 4 sub-leadership style of transformational leadership, is the intellectual stimulation. And this is the ability to look at things from different angles, to be ready to question your own assumptions and your own way of thinking, and to create a kind of atmosphere that allow everybody to ask questions and not take anything for granted. And we can see, my work, my experience working with principals and others, that many times they believe that they know already. And sometimes when they have meetings with their colleagues, they know already what's going to be the final decision of this meeting. They come up with when their minds are set about something. And once they start to work on it, and instead of come with answers, they come with questions. Use much more question marks than exclamation marks. And they start ask questions, and suddenly they get answer, because once their colleagues realize that they really want to know, and their questions are really question, not just to ask something, to show that, okay, I'm asking question, but we really want the other to state their opinions and to be part of the decision. Every decision, it doesn't matter if you work on your vision, the school vision, or any decision that's something you have to decide for tomorrow. And so this is a kind of a process, and critical incident is something that will help all the students to know a little bit about the others, and also to deal with real problems, because I believe the incidents, the critical leadership incident that they bring to the class, once you collect all of them, it will give you a very nice and very comprehensive picture of leadership situation, from different areas, different culture, different schools, high school, elementary school, kindergarten. We have also students that are heads of kindergartens, So they bring the stories from the kindergarten. Sometimes it's a bunch, it's like 3-4 kindergarten, and he is the manager, or she is the manager mainly, of those 3-4 kindergarten together. So different experience, different setting, and once you listen to all of them and you ask questions, you can get kind of a knowledge that is important for your leadership that you can't get only if you do it only within the Gonen framework or Walsh or whatever.
Just another activity, we're going to have like some case study activities and analysis things that we'll do throughout. The collaborative project that we want to do with them, and this is something that will be part of the second video conference that they'll present at, a global leader collaborative project. And so each member of that group of 6, 2 from each of the universities, or maybe 2 from Gonen and 1 from Walsh and 1 from Walsh. We'll just see how that all works out. We'll decide on someone here she considers to be a leader to them. So it could be a teacher they had, it could be some famous author, someone that they can actually go and interview that person, and then from that write an essay. And then as a group they have to decide how they're going to present that, and they have like 10 minutes just because of time, to present their leader, but working together in that group. So that's a big part of that second video conference. And then as Itzik was talking about in terms of identifying 2 leadership styles and the reflection in the daily reflective diary, which is actually part of the second course that we need to develop. This is all in development efforts.
One thing that if we talk about the mission for these 6 students or 4 students, whatever we're going to have, is that they will have to decide together on one leader that they're going to work on and study. And while studying this leader, supposed to be, a kind of a world leader that everybody knows, but there could be one from the history, far history, or current history, whatever, is to try to find out a crucial event. We know, or I should start with it. When we study leadership biographies or leaders' biographies, we always find out that there was a crucial event that really shaped the whole perspective, the way they understand whatever going on, they understood their life or whatever. There is one crucial event, and leaders talk about it. And we have many examples, and that leaders realize what was this moment that really changed, many times changed their lives. And one of the mission of these students together is to try to nail this moment or this event and try to understand why it was so important and so crucial in the life of the leader. I remember when I saw, it was many years ago, in movies that had been done about George Bush, father, George Bush. And he described how he had been shot down during World War II. And he almost lost his life. And he was rescued, last minute rescue. And while he was talking to the camera, to the interviewer, it was a documentary movie. And he explained why that was a crucial moment in his life and why he sees it as a crucial moment, what happened around it. And we know from the biography of many find this moment, and you would like to understand this moment, while understand the whole picture and activity and whatever is connected to this event as well. So this is going to be the mission of those 4 to 6 student groups that will work together from three universities. At least that's what we plan for them. I don't know.
So we talked about kind of the collaboration in terms of working together, and in terms of how the online activities, so it might be through email or Skype or Google Hangout is one of the things we're talking about, using, because everyone will have a Google account and be able to do that. Another thing that we've talked about is that we know we have the 2 video conferences, but that we also each could take a topic, each faculty member, and create like a 10-minute video about that topic, and then upload that to YouTube, and then each of the schools could use that video and share that with their students when that topic comes up during their course. And then they would have that access, and then if there were other supplemental materials and things, those things could be sent to each of
And they know us.
Yes.
This is a chance for them to know us, and we choose something that we would like to speak on, and it's give them a chance to learn something, to know us, and this is.
So,
I don't understand, the video will be about the topic or about the persona?
No, about the topic.
another topic.
By us, by the 3 of us. Each one of us will choose a topic, we'll talk about it 10 minutes, we upload it to the YouTube, and they will be able to, open it and watch it, and then they can start, correspond with us or open it, wherever.
And then, of course, in terms of tech, we were thinking like Google Hangout, or I know Blue Jeans, we talked about it, but we're leaning, I think, towards the Google.
Does
Yeah.
Google
We
Hangout
are
give you,
pro Google.
does Google Hangout give you the opportunity to have a discussion board
Yeah,
and also to post your videos?
yeah.
Okay, so that.
And they can
that will work.
share things
Sure.
on it too, so.
Yeah, and you can have, we can have those video conference using it. We've tried it with Sari back in Gonen, and it's very, very easy to use. Once you have a Google account, it's very easy to use, and it's very efficient. It's Google,
The only thing that we have to be careful of is that in the United States, the rules are a little different. So we have to make sure that with our IT people, that we're allowed to use Google Hangout to post things. That's our only problem. That's why we were using the LMS. And maybe you could.
You'd be allowed to use it.
Are we allowed to use
Yeah,
it?
you'd be allowed to use it. Honestly, you're controlling the environment, so you're controlling who gets added to the course.
Okay,
So you could go ahead and use it.
so that would really be your
It's
area.
honestly an option. Like Walsh has looked at a couple different options for document management, and Google Docs and Office 365 were the big 2 were their weighing, but universities are using Google Docs and Google Hangouts and so forth too, so there's not an issue there.
So then you'll facilitate that.
Our K-12 schools are using that a lot too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that may solve the problem for you guys as well.
But if we're, a work in progress.
Yeah.
We want to make that really clear.
It might sound that we know everything. No, we know nothing. We have many ideas, and we have the goodwill. We believe in it, but from that point, we have only question marks.
No, it's a
But
wonderful
Lori
program.
and Jeannie and Star and Raquel can share with you that they have great sympathy because they know exactly where you.
No, it was interesting to hear you talk about, at the very, very beginning, about how to put people in groups, because we went through the same issues. Should we just do one American with one Israeli, or, one, and then we said, no, we have to do 2 Israelis with two Americans, and that was just and I think that really worked out, really well. And at one point, the way Smadar had her classes, there was one person, we were trying to put another group in there, and none of the Israelis wanted to be alone in another group with the Americans. So,
It was a good lesson, though.
yeah, it was a good lesson. So we did that. The other thing I was thinking about is your activity to share, people share their activities. Critical activities, yeah. And one thing that worked really well with Jeannie and I, because we tried all the time, because Jeannie and I were an hour, each at the beginning of our classes to get, video conferencing, and we didn't have a lot of kind of back and forth. But where we finally had the back and forth was when they finished their book sharing projects, and they were sharing them with each other. So my class was sharing with Jeannie's. And the way we did that is we broke them up into small groups. And they loved it because they felt that they really got to know the other people in that group who they were viewing. So I put that out there because sometimes when you have three, when you're doing three at once and you're sharing this personal stuff, this might be a little hard to get as much feedback as you would like than if you kind of broke them up. So I'm just kind of putting it out there. But this was, we got, and it wasn't like, it was like 30 minutes I think we gave to, everybody to share. So it was like 6 in everybody's group, and that worked out, between 2 classes. It worked out well.
There is one thing that I think we didn't mention. The first video conference we're going to have is a kind of, they will be asked a week before to bring to the class something. This something could be anything, or everything actually. Could be a glass or a cup, or could be a family member, or could be a poem, or a dance, or whatever. Something which will actually give the most important information about themselves.
Yeah, that's always good.
And they're gonna show it in the class and explain why did they choose these things and why it's actually represent who they are and their values and what is important to them. So once we do it in a video conference and everybody can see everybody present whatever is important to them, we believe it will, break the ice, so to say, and make it later easier for them, to approach each other.
I think that's a great idea. What might be helpful is to have them write it and upload it first.
Or film it, or video it and upload it as a video.
Yeah,
You got
first,
a
because then they'll get reinforced. Oh, I remember, and that's the person that, I attached to, which is sort of a thought.
That's a good idea.
I will add to that also towards the video conferencing of 3 hours.
Well,
If someone going to represent, he or she will be shocked that to stand in front of how many, 60 people, and speak in English about it, maybe to do a kind of a rehearsal, to record it in advance, put it online, and then as we prepare our slideshows, before the conferences. And not to do it out of scratch, just in the beginning of the real time, the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
and I will tell you that when they started, we thought an hour was going to be too long. And what happened? Right?
You could have used more, and that will help if they upload it or they get organized. It will help everyone limit their time and focus on what they want to say, because we all know it's easy to go off on a little tangent or
Yeah.
something
And,
that,
and
yeah.
also the online conversation, how many the whole group will be? Counting the
45 maybe, I don't know.
45. Managing a video conference for 45 people, it's a chaotic task. How to do it in real time. First of all, you have to decide who is the moderator in every moment, because 3 moderators is awful, and then conversation. And if 20 will want to respond, what you do then? So maybe you have to prepare in advance also 2, 3, 4 respondents, like someone we do in a conference, we prepare a session. And we have kind of a show, prepare a show. Someone doing the presentation, and we have 3 respondents that prepare themselves, and then if you have time left, others join in. And also, you may offer an option to respond after that online by text. So that maybe our new students will not be confident enough to respond in real time, but they maybe want to respond after that, and also if it would be possible to record the video conferencing. They can look at it again and then respond in their free time. It would be helpful maybe for a few of them.
Well, we can
I never had
certainly-
such an
we can
experience.
certainly do that, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is, can't we run another screen that would allow us to have a Twitter account where they can respond? If they don't feel comfortable speaking, they can type
No,
it
no,
as
I'm not
Twitter,
talking-
it can be
In the
displayed.
Skype.
What I said, not responding in real time.
No, I know that's a good idea, but I'm saying for the people,
Well,
in addition to that, the people that would want to
You can do video
respond,
or you can do a discussion.
because we're talking about 3
And
hours,
you can record the video?
if we had a screen where they could do the Twitter, that would be, you know, that would be very good. Unless it gets too complicated.
Yeah, we checked.
We did it with Smodar.
Did you do it, Svidar?
Yeah, we were talking with Smodar and Rhode Island,
Uh-huh.
and we typed everything.
Oh, yeah.
We typed and it was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it done, it's very effective, but it's up to us. Okay.
It's
We
very
are-
structured program.